to Scanco's monthly Lunch and Learn series. This is the first one of 2024. Very exciting to have that. Quick introduction, I'm Ross Allen. I'm one of the senior account managers here at Scanco, going on my 13th year here. Very, very loving working here and working with all my Sage partners out there and customers. And it's really enjoyable experiencing. I love doing these and getting to interact. The reason why we do these every month is one, we like to, we try to do them as much as possible. We've decided to set a cadence of a 30-minute session, a lunch and learn, a quick grab and go as you would, session that's going to highlight either one of our existing products, our new product, something topical, something upcoming, something that's current, unique within the Sage ecosystem. Yeah, we're always open to ideas. In fact, a lot of our webinars, including today's, actually came from some customers asking about the solution. And we decided to put one together. So you can always email me directly, ross@scanco.com, or to sales@scanco.com with any of your information that you think it would make beneficial to a webinar. We would love to do it and host it. So last month, real quick recap, we did how to get Santa's deliveries out in a timely fashion with our pick and pack features with our multi-bin. That was hosted by Seth Fike. Next month in February, we're going to be doing a series on our payment automation and our recent acquisition, which we'll talk about here in just a moment, of our newest acquisition to Scanco, which is DonorPoint. So today's main focus is going to be on our Scanco Sales application and how to maximize a field team's performance. And you notice I didn't say sales team performance, I said field team, because really our application is multi-unique in its offerings, because it really kind of fits several different needs within our system, which we'll go over here in just a moment, within your Sage needs. So kind of a couple quick things on about Scanco. If you've never heard of us, we've been a Sage partner going on well over 35 years. We're a Sage OEM developer, or an ISV. So we originally helped author the barcode module with Sage, and we've been in the eSage ecosystem for, like I said, almost 4 decades now. We kind of fit in several different avenues as far as our offerings go. Our bread and butter has always been and always will be our Sage 100 warehouse automation piece, which automates anything within the warehouse. So if you have any inventory that you carry, even if it's in a 1,000-foot storeroom, and you need to be able to do a monthly physical count or keep track of your inventory, as opposed to the arduous pen and paper, or dare I say Excel spreadsheet way that a lot of my customers do today, then we'd be a good fit for you. We also live in the world of our multi-bin software, which directly lives inside Sage, and enhances Sage to allow for on-the-water tracking capabilities in transit, multiple bins, a replenishment, directed put away. And then top that with our manufacturing automation suite. So we've been in the ecosystem of doing manufacturing automation for a number of decades as well. We actually authored and still own the JobOps operations management software. We helped write production management for Sage, as amongst some of our other pieces as well, but everything having to do with shop floor data collection. And then we actually have our mobile sales, which we're going to feature today, our mobile sales and field service application. So we basically kind of do everything within the 4 walls, or in this case, outside the 4 walls of Sage and your facility and your business. Couple other things we have now gone full circle with. So in the last year, we're always innovating and growing. In fact, Scanco was acquired back in last year, back in June, and that acquisition has allowed us to grow immensely with our offerings and future acquisitions that we're going to be bringing on board. A couple of those happened within the last year. We're now in the procurement payment space. So we've always automated things within the warehouse, but why not automate things on the front end ordering? So we have a whole procurement payment automation space, and our recent acquisition was a company called DonorPoint. So now it's going to be under Scanco. It's going to be DonorPoint powered by Scanco. And really it kind of fits in the ecosystem of the nonprofit space, e-commerce, and payments platform. So I will just say that much about it. You'll have to attend next month's webinar to find out more about that great offering. So today's main focus is of our mobile sales application. And I say mobile sales because we call it Scanco Sales, but it's really much more than that. It's become more of a field service application as well. Delivery, it's multi-utility. So we're going to kind of hone in on who is it for and why do we think it's a good fit for them. Then we're going to focus on the functionality behind the scenes. And then we're going to get into a quick demo preview. And then if we have some time at the end, we always do some quick Q&A. Now, we don't have to wait till the very end for Q&A. If you do have some comments or questions or concerns or whatever you'd like, or just to say hello, in the GoToMeeting, you can type in the little questions box or the chat box that'll pop over and I will see it. As always, we try to get to as many of them as possible, but if we don't, I will gladly follow up with you after the fact. So Originally, we built this application for the mobile sales guy. So the guy out in the field, or gal out in the field, that is visiting customers, clientele, and that was always dealing with the arduous pen and paper, carbon copy paper. Yes, that is still a thing for a lot of customers. And also dealt with the lugging around of a laptop, trying to find a hotspot, trying to hook up to your Wi-Fi. And it was just a very sloppy altogether process. So we decided that, we've been doing this automation thing in the warehouse for so long and simplifying it, making our connection to Sage so easy and so functional, that we wanted to kind of go to this fact. I jumped ahead just here briefly. There we go. So we decided to say, who would it be for? So, we found that outside sales executives or anybody out in the field or current customer account managers were the perfect fit for this originally, or new reps looking for business. However, and as we grew this software out over the years, we have found that it would not only fit that, but I had customers saying, hey, how do we do deliveries, or how do we do field-based technicians? And we have found that it's a great fit for them too. And I'll kind of go over why that is in a moment. But basically, if you think about anybody that is in one of your trucks or one of their cars, and they're out as a representative of your business, be it, again, sales, be it field-based technicians, or be it delivery drivers, they're an extension of your company. And we want to make things as simplistic as possible, because everything has now been automated inside the warehouse, but outside of the warehouse, it was still a very Stone Age process, so to speak, going back to that pen and paper. So that's why we really built it. And really, honest to goodness, we also built it for the people back inside the building, the account managers, the bookkeepers, the people doing customer service, because no one wants to hear from a sales guy all day long. I don't even want to hear from him all day long. But they would call in, do I have this in stock? What do I have to do? It slowed down the process on the outside. It made it slowed down things and kept them off tasks inside the facility. So we want to keep this as seamless as possible without creating too much extra chaos, so to speak, is a good way to put it. So should you need it, or why would you think you would need our application? So one of the biggest things is that we'll focus on the sales side first of all, right? The long, arduous sales cycle. So I'll give you a perfect example of why this makes sense. So you're out in the field. If you're going back to the old ways of pen and paper, or you're collecting new sales, or you're visiting clientele and taking new orders and quotes, great. You just did it on pen and paper. Then you'd have to go to a Starbucks, or you'd have to go to somewhere that had free Wi-Fi, or hook up off your hotspot off your phone, go into Sage via RDP, and then plug in the order, or better yet, just email it in the office, and someone will still have to enter it in Sage. There's a lot of triplicate entry. There was a lot of delay in entry. Imagine if being able to just do it quickly on your phone, save it, and immediately back in Sage. If you want to say, hey, customer service is here, you just send a quick email from your phone with the order. It can be entered immediately. In fact, it can be entered, put on the truck, and not for delivery the next day. And then also it's eliminating the calls to the office. So that's a big thing too, because now you're taking someone off the task in the office that would actually like to answer a customer calling in, but they're answering the sales guy or the truck guy or the field guy out in the field. It also creates a more professional purchasing experience. It kind of goes back to what I was talking about before, where you're fumbling around with a laptop, trying to RDP in a Sage. Anyone that's ever RDP'd in a Sage on a laptop, you're dealing with small screens, you're dealing with slowness, you're dealing with, again, RDPing in a Sage. That says enough right there. And then you're getting rid of all the pen and paper. So it's now you're whipping out your smartphone, your iPad, your iPhone, whatever it might be, and now you're connected. It's a more professional experience because it's an app, it's clean. You'll get to see what that looks like in here in just a moment. But everything's at your fingertips too, right? We all use our cell phones today for making phone calls, going on the internet, checking emails. Why can't we just do that from an app? We've already been doing it with for almost 30 plus years now on the mobile side in the warehouse. Why can't we just make it easier on that side? And then lastly is going to get paid faster. So paid faster is going to be a twofold, and we'll talk about the payment side here in just a moment on one of my next slides. But the paid faster is I can send collect a signature, it goes back to the office, it gets delivered the next day or already out for shipment, instead of waiting till the end of the day. Or if you're traveling, multi-state, sometimes you don't get back till late at night. You got to email them all in. It's all sent in after hours. Customer service comes in the next morning, they start entering in. Now we've done with a 24 to 48-hour delay that even getting in. So now we're making that much more streamlined and efficient. I say faster, but at the end of the day, it's more efficient, and it just makes things much easier. So let's talk about some of the functionality. So at its very core, it was built as a sales platform. So creating quotes, creating sales orders on the fly from the device, but also being able to view open and unpaid invoices as well is another big thing too. So if you want to collect payment and someone that has a couple unpaid invoices or they're on terms and you want to collect it while you're out in the field, you can certainly do that. And it's also going to give you real-time inventory levels. So inventory levels are a couple different things here we can talk about. And I'll give you some examples here in a moment. But there's inventory levels of what do I have back at my warehouse, my main warehouse, what can I sell? But if I'm a service-based technician, at the end of the day, my truck is its own warehouse. So if I'm out of product and I need to do a job, if I'm doing a repair on an air conditioner, or if I'm doing a repair on a printer or whatever that might be out in the field, and I have some of my buddies that are out in the field, I can see what's on their trucks. And if I'm out, I can call them up and go, hey, I know you have XYZ on your truck. Can I come get it for you? They swap it out, and then now it's sold off their truck. And then access customer information with these too. So big thing too is as you're visiting your customers, your clientele, maybe someone's retired, maybe there's a new person there, maybe with turnover they've hired on some new staff. So you want to be able to edit and update and find out that information. So sometimes Sage is not always correct. So out in the field, if we want to update that, you can. So if anyone's used any of our warehouse profile applications before, you know that we can create a customized user experience within the application. So for those that are not familiar with that, and you're familiar with Sage, you must know role maintenance in Sage. Very similar process. We're creating customized users and what they can access and do. So we have a setting that says set for driver. If we set it for driver, they can't edit anything but collect a signature. There's no payments or anything they have to worry about, no money or dollars they have to worry about, just collecting a signature. Capturing signature, that's the next thing, right? FedEx and UPS have been doing it for years. So, that's great. We want, but also why can't we do it, right? The customer signing off is that last little piece that they acknowledge that they either got the right thing, they had the right service, this is what they ordered. It's that last step. And also email and print confirmation. So we can call this the green initiative or whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, we're trying to limit paper and trying to limit things. Everything's done digitally now, so let's make things a little bit more simple. So we do the email. The print confirmation does work. We actually can hook up via Bluetooth to a Zebra-based Bluetooth printer if you want to print to that. Or if you're using an iOS device, you can use like an AirPrint if you have a printer in the truck. But the email thing makes it so much nicer as far as that goes. So let's kind of get behind the scenes a little bit of the functionality. But the last piece we want to talk about is our new payments integration. So we've kicked around the idea for a while about bringing on an actual credit card payment processing thing. That was the last piece. We've had it very lightly baked into our software in the past, where basically it would just, we stuck in the website. So if you went to paypal.com or whatever it would be, it would just link you to there on your phone, but you had to be connected on the network, and then it would take you to whatever site. But we want to actually bring that in-house. So with all of our new acquisitions and our new growth, we are now can fully bring on payments integration to a lot of our software platforms. This one has been asked about the most. That's why we're rolling it out. So it's arriving at the end of this quarter, Q1 2024. And here's kind of a basic look of what it's going to break down. So the application, you go to the final invoice, or if you're going and collect an invoice, you just pull it up on the device. It's going to go within our application to our payment information. So you plug in their credit card, you're typing in an expiration date, but we don't want any errors to happen. And so we're actually working with a couple certified devices, and that'll also be announced at the end of the quarter, but of Bluetooth reader devices that can either tap, swipe, or insert the chip, and right there it's going to read right into the device. Right after that, you can send an email of that, the receipt directly to the customer, and then also goes into the queue for the nightly processing to reconcile deposits back in Sage on the AR side. So it's a great functionality. Like I said, we're building it out right now. It's very soon to be released. Again, at the end of the quarter is what we're aiming for. If we do it sooner, great. We will be making more announcements as we release this, but I want to give you kind of a tidbit preview of what that's going to be looking like here. So let's talk a little bit about the functionality. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of the screen here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up the application. So we run as an app. So one of the questions I see that just popped over now is what devices can you work on? When it comes to devices, we're really non-denominational. iOS or Android is okay for this. When it's in the warehouse, it's a little bit different, but in the field, anything that iPhone, iPad that can connect to cellular, that can connect to Wi-Fi, or Android-based devices. The only thing that we want to make sure is that you have the more updated releases, not like an iPhone that's like 7 years old that's running on an archaic old operating system, right? Something with the newer operating system on it is key to this. But it just runs as an app just like the rest of our software. It's very clean, it's very easy to use. We launch it, I am synced up directly to Sage. So a couple of things I did want to mention. We'll kind of peel back the curtain a little bit, and you'll notice that we're connected to a server back in the Sage side. So this goes over either Wi-Fi or cellular directly to our network connection back in Sage via, we work through the Sage's business objects interface. This is our only application that can go completely offline or stay online. The reason why we didn't build any of our warehouse applications offline is there's no need to. You want the real-time connection, the real-time validation of what's being done in Sage in the warehouse. However, when you're outside of those four walls, you can't rely on great Wi-Fi. You can't rely on great cell connectivity. As great as 5G is now and all those other things, there's still parts of hell, even Florida, where you're in the boonies, you lose Wi-Fi and you lose connectivity, or it's really spotty. I have a lot of customers that work in really rural areas, but it's not always a great collection. So it's really simple to do. As soon as if you know you're going to go into those areas, you can sync up everything immediately. So I'll scroll down here briefly. This is where I can sync up all my Sage companies, all my Sage data. If I don't want to do a whole load, I can just do certain sales orders or just certain company data, and it syncs it right up in real time. So the next question I just got asked is, great, I'm offline. What happens when I'm getting it back online? What happened, everything? Everything that we just did, from a sales order collection to a customer signature and everything else like that, is done and basically kind of puts it into an offline batch. And as soon as you're connected, it connects right back up. You don't even have to worry about it. It syncs back up and sends it, takes the next sales order number out of Sage, and you're all set, good to go. This is kind of some of the behind the scenes of the software. On the main side is, let's talk about items. So we've actually broke it down. If you're using product lines in Sage today, we can also do a product line search. It cleans up the interface a lot easier. And you can either do a search up here, I'm trying to answer questions that are coming in. Another question that just came in is, how do I scan a barcode if I'm just using a phone? So this is our only application that we built to use the camera as a barcode reader. Just like if you went to Target or Walmart or wherever else, you're walking around, you want to scan something, it does read it. We never built it into the warehouse application because now you're scanning thousands of SKUs. You would strangle me if you had to do that on the camera. An imager makes it much easier. They do make attachments that can attach to iPhone for scanning, but the onesie-twosie that you're going to do, the camera works perfectly and it can go search here. So you'll notice that we break it down by product lines, and if there is an item image of the product in Sage, it does bring it over. I will click on one of these items and it'll bring over, if I have a unit measure for the item, description, standard price. Now this is the standard list price out of Sage. We'll get the pricing in just a moment when we talk through that. And then here's where I have my on-hands availability in my warehouses. You'll see down here that I'm selling out of a default warehouse. That default warehouse is either one of two things. It's either the truck that you're sitting in, if you're a service or delivery driver, or it's your main warehouse back in Sage that you sell out of. So it's just pulling over all the Sage data. Another thing that we do bring over is no product lines. So at the end of the day, walk through scenario with me. I'm a service-based technician. My truck is my warehouse. And not only am I going to go service an AC unit or a printer, so I'm going to go service X. That's usually a /M, a /item in Sage. That /item carries a dollar amount with it. Whether it's $500 an hour, $250 an hour, whatever that is, you enter your hourly rate based on what you did. That's the / part of it. And then if I'm actually taking items off my truck, so, you know, a belt or a nut or a bolt or whatever that is, that's an inventoried item. So I bring out the inventory piece and add it to the sales order. So make it very simplistic when we break it down by product lines. If we go to the customer's application, this is going to be all of our customers. Now, the one caveat is that your drivers or your salespeople will actually be set up as a real salesperson in Sage. That's how we tie everything to divisions and the customers in Sage. It's just a salesperson, and that's what we go off of for setup. So if I click on one of my customers, it will bring over their information. It'll bring over my main contact, the salesperson assigned to it their ship via, their credit limits. Basically, we're just pulling everything out of Sage. If you do want quick directions, you can click and hold on their address, and it will bring over a GPS location, and you can map to it from wherever you're at. You'll see that anywhere within this application, as I'm going through here, one of the things you'll see is edit. So if I click on edit, I can actually click on the edit screen. It's going to open this up and I can actually update their address. I can add a company website. I can add an email, hit done, and this saves it and syncs it back up in Sage. Now, again, this is also a limitation of the user profile. If you don't want them to edit anything, you can certainly not allow them to edit customer data if you don't want them to update and change anything in Sage. So anything done here in Sage is going to update in Sage immediately. So do keep that in mind with who you're going to put this out to within your customer base. So we'll back up a little bit. You'll see a plus sign within this. This is where I can add a new customer. So if I'm trying to drum up new business or visit someone new while I'm on the road from a salesperson perspective, I can hit the plus sign and go that route. And also everything is under create new. So we built one icon called create new. This is where you can do everything directly from there. Order, a quote, a customer, a contact, or proof of delivery. We're going to go ahead and do an order here in just a second, and I'll explain what proof of delivery here is at the tail end. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my customer. To make it simple, just like Sage, we have a copy from. So if you don't want to have to go fill out everything, and this is a routine customer you visit or deliver to, and this is a new order you're creating. So I'm either a salesperson or usually field-based technician at this point. We'll show you the delivery driver side in just a moment. And again, this is basically one app that, depending on your process, can fit most of those needs. So this is field-based tech. I'm doing work, I'm creating a new order, or I'm getting new business. I'm going to send it to Sage. That's either a quote or a sales order. Copy from makes it very simple. I'll go down here and I can make any edits or changes. My salesperson is me, so that's who it's defaulting to. Bill to, ship to are pulling right out of Sage. If there's multiple ship tos for this customer, the lookup magnifying glass will allow you to find the other ones and change it and add it to here. And this is where we're going to add items. So there's either add item itself, there's add a /C, just like in Sage a comment, or I like the asterisk. The asterisk is a really cool functionality. This is great if you're a salesperson, you're giving out samples of product, but you want to notate it. If you did something special from a service side that is not typically a Sage line item or a / item, you can use a star item to notate what that was and how you did it, and still referenced on the sales order. So we're going to go ahead and add a quick item. This is a nice functionality too. Now that I'm in the A to Z customer, it'll look up their previously ordered items as well, and I can find it here. Again, it makes it simple. So copy from does a copy from standard order in Sage. This allows me to look up the last ordered things. Here we just grid it. So all I have to do is choose what I want. I type in the quantity, I hit done. It's going to save the change and it's going to add it to the main body of the sales order. So if I look down here, there's my items I added. Quantity at dollar amount equals this total. When I go back and do a recalculate here or save it, it's going to go back in Sage if I'm connected in real time. Otherwise, it'll do it after the fact. And actually pull over the Sage pricing for that customer. So anything you're seeing listed here is the standard list out of Sage. However, in Sage today, if you have customer pricing specials, like 10% off or whatever that pricing level is for that customer, it'll recalculate it and put it on the order. Going through here, I'm going to go ahead and if I'm did the work, service tech, or I'm collecting, if I'm adding a new quote for a customer, this is where I can collect the signature, hit done, and then I'm going to save it one more time. You can add a comment down here too if you'd like to print their name. I'm going to hit done, and then it's going to save it. It's going to give me a prompt. Do I want to email it, print? This is where the payment option is going to be as well. If we're collecting payment, that's going to be within the screen, and then away we go. If I just did a simple email, I want to show you, this is a copy of one I did earlier. Here's what the email looks like. When it gets emailed to the customer, it's going to go as an HTML as well as a PDF copy. And the customer signature is stored here on the app, and this emails to the customer. The sales order goes into Sage. The signature itself is actually saved back in the Mass 90 images folder with referencing, it's a JPEG, but it references the sales order number and date, so you have a tie into that functionality. So walking through a next scenario. So you notice that I did a proof of delivery function as well. So proof of delivery is a little bit different. So I'm proving that it was delivered. So I have a lot of customers that already have our warehouse product, that already have our multi-bin product. So what they have done is typically they will not invoice until the product was delivered. This is great for my customers to do bulk delivery, that do fuel, that do deliver feed for cattle ranches or whatever you're delivering. there's a chance you might have to change the order. So the proof of delivery is you're actually proving what was delivered. So this allows you to actually, you'll see it's all in red here. So even though they ordered 3, I have to put down the quantity that was actually delivered. So it's making me actually re-enter the quantity from there. And what they'll have done is, or a workflow process is, you have our multi-bin product, you have our Scanco warehouse product. So sales order comes in from your sales guy. They go pull the order, stage it. It's now staged on the truck. The truck is actually a bin location now. So when I go sell it or deliver it, I'm delivering it off of my truck, i.e. a bin. It still allows me to reference it. It still allows me to collect what was done, but nothing's invoiced until it was done. And I can make an edit if they wanted less than or more than, the more than being that I have it on my truck, I can add it to the order. And that's editing it and saving it. So what happens in the case is that customer ordered more than they actually needed. Whatever's left and was not delivered just stays on the truck as a bin location. So basically it falls off the order, it goes back on the truck as a bin, so you can track it where it's in Sage, and then when it gets back to the warehouse in the day, they can do a transfer off. So lots of different scenarios. So we kind of covered them all. Like I said, I want to get you in and out in 30 minutes. The whole goal is to kind of give you an idea of what we do as a company, what this software can do or can be for you, and then we can obviously fine tune it. We do run, so from a pricing perspective, I just got asked that. Let me know, we'll talk offline about that, but it runs a subscription, basically an annual subscription, unlimited amount of users for the sales users themselves, the devices, and you're all set and good to go. So if there's anything else, please email me at ross@scanco.com or sales@scanco.com. I appreciate your time today for allowing us to show how this can work for sales, field-based delivery, as well as field-based technician.